Dear learners, I welcome you all to this unit on state policy and programs for vulnerable groups. As a learner of this course, you have already been introduced in the previous unit to the basic concept of vulnerability and the importance of understanding vulnerable groups in the context of 21st century. The earlier unit also discussed the nature and dimensions of vulnerability, particularly in the rural context, highlighting the challenges faced by the marginalized section of the people in the society. Building upon that understanding, this unit focuses on the various state policies and programs that have been introduced or implemented to address the issues faced by the vulnerable groups in the context of India. In a democratic country like India, the government plays a significant role in designing and implementing policies aimed at protecting the rights of disadvantaged communities, reducing social and economic inequalities, and promoting inclusive development. Therefore, this unit will help you understand the different initiatives undertaken by the state to improve the living conditions and socioeconomic status of vulnerable populations and to ensure that they can lead a dignified, meaningful, and secure life. In a democratic country like India, the state has a crucial responsibility to ensure the protection, prevention of exploitation, and the promotion of the rights and well being of vulnerable groups. Vulnerable groups include individuals or communities who, due to social, economic, cultural, or physical conditions, are more likely to experience marginalization, discriminations, and limited access to opportunities. These groups may include women, children, persons with disabilities, the elderly, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, minorities, economically weaker sections of the community, and the other socially disadvantaged population. To ensure that these groups are able to live a dignified and secure life, the Government of India has introduced various policies, welfare schemes, and developmental programs. These initiatives aim to provide social protection, access to education, skill development opportunities, health care facilities, employment prospects, and legal safeguards. Through such policies and programs, the state attempts to reduce inequalities, promote social justice, and empower vulnerable communities so that they can actively participate in the social, economic, and political life of the country. Education and skill development play a significant role in empowering vulnerable groups. By equipping individuals with knowledge, life skills, and employment skills, these initiatives help them become self reliant and improve their socioeconomic conditions. Consequently, or eventually, state policies and the programs not only focus on protection but also on empowerment and sustainable development. So, the main objectives of the unit are to identify and understand the concept and characteristics of vulnerable groups in society, to examine the various policies and programs which are implemented for the protection, welfare, empowerment of the vulnerable groups in India, to analyze the role of government initiatives in promoting social justice, inclusion, and improved quality of life for vulnerable population. So, who are the vulnerable groups? So far, you have learned that vulnerable groups are section of society who are at the higher risk of poverty, social exclusion, discrimination, or lack of access to basic services such as education, healthcare, employment, and social security. These groups need special protection, support, and welfare program from the government. So, who are the vulnerable group? The major vulnerable groups in India basically include children, those who are orphans, child laborers, street children, women, especially widows, single mother, victims of violence, scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, other backward classes, that is OBC, persons with disabilities, elderly persons, minority communities, economically weaker section, migrant workers, urban poor, slum dwellers, etc. After identifying the vulnerable groups, it becomes important to understand the need for implementing various policies and programs aimed at their protection, welfare, and importance. Why the policies are important for this vulnerable group? As we have already discussed, India implements comprehensive policies for vulnerable groups, including SCs, OBCs, senior citizens, and transgender persons, focusing on empowerment, education, and social security. Key initiatives include Pradhan Mantri Anususita Jati Abhiyan Yojana, that is the PMAJAY for scheduled castes, Smile for beggars, Nasha Mukti Bharat Abhiyan for addicts, and the welfare scheme for elderly. In fact, policies and programs for vulnerable groups are essential for building an inclusive and equitable society. This initiative helps to reduce poverty and social inequalities, promote social justice, and ensure equal opportunities for all citizens. They also contribute to improve the quality of life of disadvantaged population by providing access to essential services such as education, healthcare, employment, and social security. Ultimately, the such programs and policies strengthen inclusive development and ensure that no section of society is left behind in the process of national development. So, in a democratic country or a welfare oriented country like India, the state plays a crucial role in ensuring the protection, welfare, and empowerment of the vulnerable group. To address these challenges of these people faced by this population, that is the vulnerable population, the government of India formulated several policies and programs at promoting social justice, equity, and inclusive development. These policies seek to safeguard the rights of the vulnerable groups and provide them with opportunities for education, employment, healthcare, as well as social security. So, the government of India has adopted several national policies and which are implemented to protect and empowering the vulnerable populations in the country. Say the national policy for children, which are implemented in 2013. The national policy for children aims to ensure that every child in India enjoys the rights to survival, protection, and development and participation. The policy recognizes children as a vulnerable national resources and emphasizes their holistic development. It focuses on improving nutrition, healthcare services, education, and protection of children from exploitation, abuse, and neglect. The policy also stresses the importance of creating a supportive environment that allows children to grow and develop their full potential. Another important policy, that is the National Policy for Empowerment of Women, which was implemented in the year 2001. This policy aims to bring about the advancement, development, and empowerment of women in all spheres of life. It focuses on achieving gender equality and eliminating discrimination against women. The policy emphasizes women's access to education, employment opportunities, healthcare services, and legal rights. It also highlights the need to strengthen women's participation in decision-making process and to ensure protection against violence and exploitation. Another very important policy is National Policy for Older Persons, which was implemented in the year 1999. And this policy basically addresses the needs and concerns of the elderly population in India. With the increasing aging population, the policy seeks to ensure financial security, healthcare service, shelter, and welfare measures for senior citizens. It also encourages families, communities, and voluntary organizations to support the well-being and dignity of these older persons. Another policy is the National Policy for Persons with Disabilities, which was implemented in the year 2006. And this policy aims to promote equal opportunities, protection of rights, and full participation of persons with disabilities in society. It focuses on inclusive education, employment opportunities, barrier-free environment, rehabilitation services, and social security measures. The policy also seeks to eliminate discrimination and ensure that persons with disabilities can lead independent and dignified lives. The National Tribal Policy, as we know, this policy focuses on the protection of the rights, culture, and the identity of the tribal communities. It aims to improve their socio-economic conditions by providing better access to education, healthcare, land rights, and livelihood opportunities. The policy also emphasizes the sustainable development while preserving the traditional knowledge and the cultural heritage of the tribal communities. Policies for scheduled caste. The Government of India has introduced various policies and constitutional safeguards to promote social justice and equality for scheduled caste. These policies focus on eliminating caste-based discrimination, improving access to education and employment, and promoting economic empowerment through targeted welfare programs. If we look at what are the important government programs for vulnerable groups, apart from the policies, the government of India has implemented several programs and welfare schemes to support vulnerable population. The government of India has implemented a number of schemes and programs to support vulnerable sections of society. These initiatives aim to reduce inequality, promote social justice, and ensure inclusive development by improving access to education, healthcare, employment, and social security. The schemes target different vulnerable groups such as scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, other backward classes, senior citizens, persons with disabilities, the LGBT communities, and economically weaker population. If we look at specifically the programs which are implemented to safeguard the children, then say ICDS, that is the Integrated Child Development Service, is one of the largest early childhood care programs in the world. It provides a range of services such as supplementary nutrition, preschool education, immunization, health checkup, and referral services to children below 6 years of age, as well as to pregnant and lactating mothers. Midday meal scheme is another scheme. This scheme provides free nutritious meals to school children studying in government and government-aided schools. The scheme aims to improve children's nutritional status, increase school enrollment, and reduce dropouts. What are the programs which are implemented for women, such as the programs like the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao? These programs aims to address the declining child-sex ratio and promote the survival, protection, and education of the girl child. It also seeks to change societal attitudes towards girl and promote gender equality. Another scheme like Pradhan Mantri Matur Bandhana Yojana, that the schemes provides financial assistance to the pregnant and lactating mothers to support their nutritional needs and compensate for wage loss and during pregnancy and childbirth. The programs for poor and rural household, particularly for the poor and rural household, there are various schemes and programs which are implemented by the government, such as the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act is one of the most significant social security and livelihood programs implemented by the government in the year 2005 to support poor and rural household, with the objectives of enhancing livelihood security in rural areas by guarantee wage employment to adult members of rural household who are willing to undertake unskilled manual work. Under this program, every rural household has the legal right to demand at least 100 days of wage employment in a financial year. If the government fails to provide employment within 15 days of the demand, the applicant is entitled to receive an unemployment allowance. These provisions makes Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act a right-based program that empowers rural citizens and ensure accountability in governments. This scheme focuses on providing employment through creation of productive community assets and rural infrastructure. Some of the common works undertaken under MNGREGA, MNREGA include water conservation projects, irrigation facilities, drought-proofing measures, land development, rural connectivity through road construction, and improvement of agricultural productivity. These activities not only provide employment opportunities but also contribute to sustainable rural development. Another important feature of Manrega is its emphasis on inclusive participation. The program gives priority to disadvantaged groups such as scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, women, and other marginalized communities. In fact, at least one-third of the beneficiaries under the scheme are required to be women, which helps promote gender equality and women's economic empowerment. So, Manrega also promotes transparency and community participation through mechanisms such as social audit, public disclosure of records, and the participation of local self-government institutions like Gram Panchayat is in planning and implementing the projects. Overall, the Manrega plays a crucial role in reducing rural poverty, generating employment opportunities, strengthening rural infrastructure, and promoting inclusive and sustainable development in rural India. Another important initiative is the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana under the National Rural Livelihood Mission. This program aims to reduce rural poverty by promoting sustainable livelihood opportunities among poor households. The scheme encourages the formation of self-help groups, particularly among rural women, and provides them with financial assistance, skill development training, and access to credit facilities. Through these self-help groups, rural families can start small enterprises, engage in income-generating activities, and improve their economic conditions. The program also promotes financial inclusion and social empowerment of rural communities. Another scheme like the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Gramin Yojana, is another major program aimed at providing affordable housing to rural poor households. The scheme seeks to ensure that every rural family has access to a safe and permanent house with basic facilities such as sanitation, electricity, and drinking water. Financial assistance is provided to eligible households to construct durable houses, thereby improving their living conditions and overall quality of life. The Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana (PMJ), which is a part of Ayushman Bharat program, provides health insurance coverage to economically weaker families in rural and urban areas. Under this scheme, eligible families receive financial protection for secondary and tertiary healthcare services in empaneled hospitals. This helps reduce the financial burden of medical expenses and ensures access to quality healthcare of poor households. Another important scheme is Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana, which aims to provide clean cooking fuel to poor households. Under this program, free LPG connections are provided to women from below poverty line families. The scheme helps reduce the use of traditional cooking fuels such as firewood and coal, thereby improving the health of women and children and reducing environmental pollution. Overall, these programs play a vital role in addressing rural poverty, creating employment opportunities, improving access to basic services, and promoting sustainable livelihood. By implementing such initiatives, the Government of India seeks to empower rural communities and ensure inclusive growth and development across the country. If we particularly focus on the scheme related to scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward class, then these schemes aim to eliminate social discrimination, improve social economic condition, and empower historically disadvantaged communities. Act like Protection of Civil Rights Act, that is the PCR, which was implemented in 1955, and the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Protection of Atrocities, which have been implemented in the year in 1989. The Protection of Civil Rights Act in 1995 was enacted to abolish the practice of untouchability, and ensure equal civil rights for all citizens. It provides legal safeguard against discrimination based on caste. The Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989 aims to prevent atrocities and discrimination against members of SC and ST communities. The Act provides strict punishment for offense such as social discrimination, physical violence, and exploitation. It also ensures legal protection, relief, and rehabilitation for victims. The scheme like Stand Up India scheme, this Stand Up India scheme aims to promote entrepreneurship among scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and women. Under the scheme, bank loans ranging from rupees 10 lakh to 1 crore are provided to eligible beneficiaries for setting up new enterprises in manufacturing, services, or trading sectors. The scheme encourages financial inclusion and economic empowerment of the marginalized communities. Pradhan Mantri Adarsh Gram Yojana is one of other scheme which focuses on integrated development of villages with a significant population of scheduled caste. The objective is to transform these villages into Adarsh Gram or model village by improving infrastructure, education, sanitation, healthcare, and livelihood opportunities. Pradhan Mantri Van Dhan Yojana aims to improve the livelihood of the tribal communities by promoting the value addition of forest products. Under this scheme, tribal self-help groups are formed and trained to collect, process, and market minor forest produce. The program helps tribal communities increase their income and achieve economic independence. Bon Bondhu Kalyan Yojana focuses on the comprehensive development of tribal communities. The scheme aims to improve tribal living standards by enhancing access to education, healthcare, housing, livelihood opportunities, infrastructure in tribal areas. If we look at particularly what are the vocational training centers which are established in the tribal areas, the vocational training centers are established in tribal regions to provide the skill development and training opportunities to tribal youth. These centers help develop employable skills in sectors such as agriculture, handicrafts, small-scale industries, and service sectors, enabling tribal youth to secure employment and improve their economic status. Another residential school such as Ekalabya Model Residential Schools. Such kind of schools are established to provide quality education to tribal children, particularly those living in remote areas. These residential schools offer modern education along with facilities for sports, cultural activities, and personality development, thereby promoting the overall development of the tribal students. If we throw light on what are the schemes which have been implemented to safeguard the senior citizens of the country, then we can say with an increasing aging population in India, several welfare schemes have been introduced to ensure the well-being and social security of elderly citizens. The schemes like Pradhan Mantri Vaya Bandhana Yojana, this is a pension scheme designed for senior citizens aged 60 years and above. It provides a guaranteed pension for a specified period, helping elderly individuals secure financial stability during old age. Rashtriya Vayashri Yojana provides assistive living devices such as walking sticks, wheelchairs, hearing aids, and spectacles to senior citizens belonging to economically weaker sections. The scheme aims to improve mobility and independence among elderly persons suffering from age-related disabilities. Integrated programs for older persons, the IPOP, these programs supports the establishment and maintenance of old age homes, daycare centers, and mobile medical units for senior citizens. It aims to provide shelter, healthcare, and social support to elderly individuals, especially those who are destitute or abandoned. Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme is another important scheme. This scheme provides financial assistance in the form of a monthly pensions to elderly persons belonging to below poverty line household. The pensions helps them meet their basic needs and ensure social security during old age. Schemes related to persons with disabilities in India, particularly the government has introduced several initiatives to promote inclusion, accessibility, and equal opportunities for persons with disabilities. Accessible India campaign, that is the Sugamaya Bharat Abhiyan. This campaign aims to create a barrier free environment for persons with disabilities by improving accessibility in public building, transportation system, and digital platform. The program encourages universal accessibility and inclusive infrastructure. Sugamaya Pustakalaya is an online digital library developed for persons with print disabilities. It provides access to books in accessible formats such as audiobooks, braille, and large print, thereby promoting inclusive education. Deen Dayal Disable Rehabilitation Scheme, that is the DDRS. The scheme provides financial assistance to voluntary organizations working for the education, rehabilitation, and the skill development of persons with disabilities. The program aims to enhance their independence and participation in society. Unique Disability Identification Project, it is a very large project. This project aims to create a national database of persons with disabilities and provide them with a unique disability identity card. This helps individuals access government benefits, schemes, and services more easily. Skill related to LGBT community, such as Swikruti, is an initiative aimed at supporting the welfare and social inclusion of members of LGBT members. The program seeks to create awareness and promote acceptance and provide support services such as counseling, healthcare, and livelihood opportunities to individuals belonging to sexual minority groups. We have already mentioned the scheme which are implemented in India for children, for poor women, for the people, for the senior citizen, people for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and minority scheduled tribes, the people for related to poor and economically weaker persons, LGBT persons. Apart from this, if we look at what are the schemes which are implemented for the minorities, then in the Indian context, the Constitution of India does not define the term minorities anywhere, but only mentions in some articles in like in 29 to 30 and T50A to T50B. Article 29, referring to minorities, speaks of any sections of citizens having a distinct language, script, and culture. For these minority communities, the Pradhan Mantri Jana Vikas Karayakaram Yojana, this scheme particularly aims to improve the socio-economic infrastructure facilities for minority communities in the rural areas of education, health, and skill development. Hamari Dharuhar. The Hamari Dharuhar program was launched by the Ministry of Minority Affairs to preserve the rich cultural heritage of India's minority communities. Its objectives include preserving the rich cultural history of minorities within the context of Indian culture as a whole, and preserving their literature and other records, supporting and promoting calligraphy, etc. So, in India, vulnerable groups such as poor, rural household, women, children, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, minority, elderly persons, persons with disabilities, persons of LGBT often face multiple social and economic challenges. To address these issues and promote inclusive development, the Government of India has introduced various policies, schemes, and programs. These initiatives aim to ensure social justice, reduce poverty and inequality, and provide equal opportunities for all sections of the people in the society. So, programs such as Employment Guarantee Scheme, Livelihood Missions, Health Insurance Scheme, housing programs, social security initiatives play an important role in improving the living conditions of vulnerable population. They help create employment opportunities, strengthen rural infrastructure, promote access to healthcare and education, and support the economic empowerment of the disadvantaged communities. However, the access of these programs depends not only on policy formulation but also on effective implementation, awareness among the beneficiaries, and the active participation of local institutions and communities. When implemented effectively, these schemes can significantly contribute to improve the quality of life of vulnerable groups and ensure their active participation in the development process. So far, in this unit, we have learned that vulnerable groups are sections of society that face social, economic, or political disadvantages and they require specific protection and support. The Government of India has formulated various policies and schemes and programs to promote the welfare and the empowerment of this group. Schemes related to employment, education, health, housing, and social security play a vital role in improving the lives of the disadvantaged population. Programs such as Employment Guarantee Scheme, Livelihood Missions, and the welfare schemes help reduce poverty and promote inclusive development. Effective implementation and community participation are essential for ensuring the success of these initiatives. So, now we come to the end of this unit, that is the unit 36. In the next unit or module, that is in the 37, we shall discuss the strategies for inclusive and rural development. So, thank you. See you again.